Yeah, there's a lot been going on, man. I mean, not much has been going on in our beloved world of boxing, but there's been a lot going on just in general. But did you get to see the Forbes list this week?
I did.
I've got some thoughts on it, but what's your two pennies, man?
I found it interesting. I mean, I made a video on it, and initially I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the dates. I was like, okay, we're only sort of 5 to 6 months in 2020. So what do you mean by 2020? And then I found out, obviously, it was from the 1st of June until the 31st of May, which made a bit more sense. In that period, AJ's had a couple of fights. Canelo's had one. I think Tyson Fury's had three. But Tyson Fury's also made a lot of money from the WWE. His book sells. What it did show, though, is that boxers are making money. I mean, there were four boxers in the top 20. Sorry, in the top 30, which I don't think would have happened a few years back. You're always going to get Pacquiao and Mayweather, but anyone else isn't really going to be seen on that list. So it shows that you can make money. It shows you can make money with different promoters as well. And what I mean by that is you've got AJ, obviously with Matchroom and Sky. You've got Tyson Fury with Top Rank in ESPN. You've got Deontay Wilder with PBC and Showtime. So it shows that there's money everywhere in boxing right now. Whereas sort of 20, 30 years ago, it was only one promoter that was giving you the big bucks, and that was Don King. Now, all promoters are showing that money's out there. But I was surprised, I can't lie. Apart from all that, I was surprised to see Tyson Fury above Canelo and AJ.
Do you know what? I think there's a few things going on there. I think, one, Canelo would have topped it by a mile if he'd have fought twice.
Yeah.
If the Cinco de Mayo date would have been included, he would have been a country mile ahead.
Easily.
But if we're going to compare AJ and Fury, which we unavoidably have to all the time with every debate now, because it's just the, all roads lead to undisputed, right?
Yeah.
Would you think it's fair to say that since his American kind of debut and adventure, that Tyson Fury's profile has gone through the roof with fighting in Vegas, LA, fighting an American and beating him on paper twice?
Yeah.
And as you said, doing WWE, was that in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So he's conquering territories. Even though AJ's moved around, he's moved around under the Matchroom banner, which has done him wonders up to this point. But the Tyson Fury story has layers.
Yeah.
It's like a movie.
I agree, it is a movie. And it's just going to keep on growing and getting better. And I'm sure there's a few more chapters of this movie to come. It's incredible, right? If you was to say to someone a year ago, regardless of how many fights Tyson Fury had in that period, if you used to say to someone a year ago that Tyson Fury is going to be above AJ in the Forbes list, and look, I don't know how serious we can take the Forbes list, but it's there, right? If you used to say to someone Tyson Fury will be above AJ, they would have thought you were mad. Like, no way. With all this talk about A side and B side and who brings in the most money and all that kind of talk, I mean, that's over now. I mean, it's a 50-50 fight now. There's no AJ 75 and Fury 25. That's done. Tyson Fury is as big as AJ. Maybe not in ticket sales, but in terms of I generate this amount of money and I get paid this amount of money, Tyson Fury is right up there.
I think Fury probably supersedes every other boxer on the planet now, with the exception of recently Floyd, for notoriety outside the ring. Like the topics that he brings to light outside the ring. So I think there's so many more ways he can get traction on social media through his life story, through his trash talk. Because even though AJ trash talked with Miller, that was the first time we've really seen AJ. All right, we saw him get wound up with Dominic Brazil on a face-off, but Fury can go and go and go, like Muhammad Ali or Floyd or Conor McGregor. You need that kind of promotional mouth to generate interest with the casuals.
Yes, and aside from that, it's very natural with Fury as well. I think we've seen people trash talk in the past, and it just doesn't seem like natural. Like when Ahara Davis does it, I just don't feel like this is real. I find it almost comical. But when Tyson Fury does it, or Conor McGregor, or you want to go back to Prince Nassim Hamed, Floyd, when he first started doing it, it seemed very natural. I hope that we don't see AJ try and trash talk personally, because it won't be natural. And it will come across as being a bit weird. I think Tyson Fury does it, stick to it. AJ should stick to what he does, which is more talking in the ring. I just think Tyson Fury's fantastic at it. And I think the thing that I like about Tyson Fury is that you never feel like it's brand Fury. You just think this is how he is. Like when I watch him, when I watch him on his Insta stories with his wife, and they're arguing and they're exercising, and they're telling the kids to shut up. I think most people can just relate to this because it just seems real. You almost feel like you're in his front room. And I don't want to see a brand Fury. A lot of people accuse AJ of having brand AJ. And I try and defend that, but it's hard to defend sometimes. It does feel like a brand AJ thing. With Fury, it does feel a lot more natural, a lot more relatable, almost like a bit like Ricky Hatton back in the day. It just feels like you know him and you can have a drink with him in the pub. Fury's got that about him.
Yeah, I think, as you said, that kind of warts and all, feeling like you're in his life. You know, the late Emmanuel Stewart said that the only person he could see go toe-to-toe on a talking contest with Ali was Fury. That's a massive compliment, man. I mean... Yeah,
it's massive. Fury's got that in abundance. And it's weird because it's not like his skill that is in his family. I mean, Hughie Fury is his cousin. He can't talk for nothing. Yeah. So it's something that he's obviously built over the years. The confidence has come out. I mean, you go and watch the early Tyson Fury press conferences when he was signed to Mick Hennessy. He spoke, but it wasn't like this. Now that he knows he's the #1 in the world, he's the ring-recognized #1, he's the champion, he's been through so much in his life, he's been on the brink and come back. He's now almost got this two-pack style of fuck it. I say whatever I want to say now, almost like 50 Cent. When 50 Cent got shot 9 times, like, hey, you know what, fuck it. Now we're talking. You can't kill me now. Now I'm going to talk. And I think Fury's a bit like that.
I think that's what it is. It's he's been to the brink, so close, come back. He's living life at full tilt now, but with a balanced approach of good people around him. He seems happy. I mean, good for him. If we just tie it back to the boxing for a sec, how soon do you realistically think we could see the Undisputed, man? Like, realistically?
Realistically, summer 2021. Realistically.
There's a lot of fringe politics, isn't there?
There's so many hurdles. Obviously, Dillian White's making noise now, and Dillian White should make noise. I now am fully on the Dillian White bandwagon of give me my fucking opportunity. Like, what is going on? People will say stuff like, oh, but he should have fought AJ sort of last year. That's nothing to do with the WBC belt. He's been WBC mandatory for so long. He's fought for them. He's had silver belts, international belts, given me his opportunity. So Dillian White's definitely going to be a problem. Deontay Wilder being injured is going to be a problem. COVID-19 is going to be a problem. So, you know, I said summer 2021 is best, but in my head, when I say all those things, that we're probably looking at maybe early 2022. And by then, there might be problems. AJ could lose. Someone could become injured. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous, but this is boxing politics.
I mean, everything you listed is a valid and poignant reason. Did you see the kind of feedback after the few interviews that Maurizio Suleiman did with certain channels? And he's kind of just sticking to his guns, saying that Dillian's going to get his shot in February, come rain or shine. And that kind of seems to be what it is. At that point, God knows, will it be 1,000, 1,200 days? Who knows? Dillian's pissed.
Yeah.
He just needs to stay focused. Does he still fight Povetkin next? Is
100%. 100%. He fights Povetkin in August. 100% that's going to happen at the Matchroom headquarters the end of August. He's still in camp now. He will fight that fight. I hope to God that he's not overlooking that fight. We've heard a lot from Dillian White in the last couple of weeks, and he hasn't really mentioned Povetkin. He's mentioned AJ again. He's mentioned Tyson Fury. He's mentioned Deontay Wilder. He's even mentioned the UFC guy, Francis Ngannou. He's not really mentioned Povetkin, and I feel like just concentrate on that. That's a tough fight. I mean, Dillian White didn't look good in his last fight against Marius Vac, so Povetkin's going to be tough. That's no joke. So hopefully he gets through that, and then you've got 6 months until that February 2021 date for him to get a shot against either Wilder or Fury. Hopefully it will be Fury, because I don't see Fury fighting anytime between sort of now and February.
Ade, a little bit of a unmentioned point quite often, and I mentioned this to Dillian's trainer, Mark, and isn't it a bit of a trepidous kind of no perfect situation with Eddie managing both AJ, trying to get him undisputed, and Dillian trying to get him a bite at WBC? Isn't it quite almost an impossible thing where you're trying to keep your wife and your mistress happy?
It's impossible. It's
So no
impossible.
one
I
talks
mean,
about it.
no, they don't, because not many channels want to ask those questions. I mean, you guys do. Boxing Social will ask that question. Rob Tebbett will definitely ask that question. It's just a tough situation because, I mean, if the WBC right now go to Eddie Hearn and say, okay, look, we can give you Dillian White right now, mandated, or we can give you the AJ Fury fight right now. Which one's he going to take? Which one's he taking? He's taking AJ all day long, right?
Oh,
And if you
Addy,
come
why
on.
is that? State the obvious. Why is that,
Because
Addy?
that
Tell us.
brings in the most cha-cha-cha-cha-ching. Let's be honest, it brings in that. Apart from the fact that I feel like AJ and Eddie are closer than Eddie and Dillian White, that's fact, right? I think AJ just brings in more money. That's what it is. I mean, Dillian White's doing well for himself, but AJ brings in multi-millions, if not hundreds of millions, to that Sky and Matchroom empire. So he's just a bigger guy right now. So I
Blue
think
chip status.
blue chip status. I mean, platinum American Express card. I mean, he's just that guy right now. And I think even Dillian and Dillian's manager must understand that. Dillian is a fantastic talent, but AJ, aside from Canelo, is still, I think, the biggest name in boxing. And it's difficult to go against that if you have it underneath your stable.
Well, as Ring Magazine's Cynthia Conte says, earn with Hearn.
And with Hearn right now, dude. But look, again with the Dillian White thing, I fully understand why Dillian White is upset. But I think Eddie Hearn's done well with Dillian White. He's got him in a position where, look, a lot of people disappear after losing to AJ. You kind of just vanish. You kind of look at a few of AJ's early conquests, and they just disappeared. Dillian White's worked his way back up. He's on pay-per-view shows. He headlines cards. He earns millions every single fight right now. So I don't think Eddie Hearn's doing him that badly. I mean, obviously, look, I can see where he wants to be. He wants to fight Fury, Wilder, AJ, but I mean, he's doing okay. He's not doing too bad.
We know this. For any other stable fighter, we'd be saying, carry on, keep doing what you're doing. But because Dillian's been waiting for his shot for so long, just a little other caveat to mention. I know you love talking about this topic. Do we remember, because people like to forget these things, when Luis Ortiz wasn't ready to fight Dillian? Remember, Addy, expand on what I might be hinting at there.
Oh, Luis Ortiz is never going to be ready because Luis Ortiz has to get off certain things to get ready. But look, you and I both know, bro, this boxing game is it's a funny one, especially when you go further in. Like, you're going further in now with what you're doing and covering for yourself and Pep Talk. So you're getting further in, and you're realizing as you go deeper down that rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It's funny, you mentioned Dillian White being upset with the WBC. I interviewed Dillian White for Sky, and I asked him a WBC question, and he went mad, and Sky cut it out. They cut that bit out, they removed it as a chunk.
Did the veins start coming up? Did the veins start coming up?
Dude, honestly, you can see how he just went from 0 to 100 immediately. And I thought it was a good piece that they should have kept in. But I don't know if it was Dillian White's manager or anyone, but they said, you know, maybe we should cut that 1 minute segment out. And I was upset because I went home and I felt like it fucked up with the flow of the interview a bit, because it made the interview look a bit jumpy, whereas it flowed quite well about what he was saying about the WBC. He didn't go too hard, but he went hard enough for them to remove it.
He can't. He's got to be cordial with Maurizio. I saw in the interview he said that he'd sent his representatives out to Cancun to sit down with WBC in person. So it's not something he's taken lightly. As you said, it's hurdles. So look, we all rate Dillian. I had a really good chat with his trainer. Dillian's busting his ass right now in Portugal, training like a madman. Good for him. There's been no kind of time off for him, so I expect him to be in tip-top shape. Hopefully he gets on with Povetkin. I think he's mentioning all these other high-profile guys to get his name in the conversation.
Not only that, but I think, and I said this on Twitter, the worst thing you can be as a professional boxer is a boxer, no matter how good you are, that has no options. So you can be Muhammad Ali. If Muhammad Ali has no one to fight, then Muhammad Ali is not going to make Muhammad Ali money. What Dillian White's doing right now is important, is that he's creating options. There you go, Terence Crawford right now, no options. You've got to have options. And options is the reason why someone like Derek Chisora, who's lost, what, 8 or 9 times, is still in pay-per-view shows because he creates options. Like Chisora, for example, right now, obviously he wants the Usyk fight, but he's already started stoking the fire for another Dillian White fight. He's trying to create options. and that's what Dillian White is doing as well. You've got to create options.
But so I'm not. I don't claim to be anything as into UFC as you are.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Francis gossip?
It's real. It's real, right? The thing is about Francis Ngannou. First of all, he's just a mean fighter, but he's a stand-up fighter. And what I mean by that for non-MMA fans is that he's not going to take you down and wrestle. He's not going to submit you. He has no jiu-jitsu background. So he's a stand-up guy. So all he's really going to do is punch and maybe throw a few kicks. That's why people are thinking it might make sense for Dillian White to cross over, because Dillian White knows kickboxing backgrounds. He's had that. He's fought for kickboxing titles before. And obviously Dillian White's a boxer. So they're pretty much the same. So I think people are thinking that Dillian White could cross over because of that. Look, if it makes money, it makes sense. I don't want to see Dillian White personally in an MMA fight when he's got so many big boxing fights in front of him. But right now it's about making those dollars. And Dillian White's all about his money, as we know.
If you haven't seen, and I'm saying this to the viewers as much as yourself, if you haven't seen the interview with Francis on Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing, amazing.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Yeah, I do like that.
The way he tells the story about being hungry and having to hide in rubbish dumpsters and having to only come out at night because he didn't know who could be undercover border patrol police in, was it Algeria or Morocco?
Yeah.
And literally saying that he'd heard of Mike Tyson, but what's his country of origin?
Cameroon.
Cameroon. He's saying he never had access to the internet growing up. He'd heard of Mike Tyson. Then when he got to see him on YouTube, became fixated on his knockout explosiveness. And it kind of, as you say, he's very a la Conor McGregor, stand-up fighter.
Yeah, he's a stand-up fighter. And when you hear these stories as well about these guys, sorry to interrupt you there, when you hear these stories about these guys, and we talk about our hardship over here, we can't even compare. I mean, their hardship, where they've come from, it's just different.
First world problems, man.
It's exactly first world problems. And we're moaning that the government is saying stay in our nice houses with electricity and running water. These guys, like you say, this guy's sleeping in dumpsters trying to avoid immigration and border control as he tries to get from Cameroon to Algeria to go to eventually France. It's a different, he's a different beast. I mean, he's a different beast, is Ngannou.
Do you know what was really powerful from his interview with Mike was talking about the actual resistance from his family, from his elders, from his parents, his uncles, to like get in line and toe the line and be the good young, son and following the family footsteps of a traditional Cameroonian background. He was like, no, I want more than this. I've got a life out there. And he said, fuck it, I'm going to go for broke. And he left town. He never looked back. Yeah,
it's still something that a lot of, especially West Africans, I can only speak for where I come from in Nigeria, but it's still a lot of what we go through now. Like growing up, it really is education. And then there's only 3 careers: lawyer, doctor, or accountant. Nothing else matters. And I feel like my generation now, I'm 39, my generation now is starting to change that kind of mindset. There is so much else you can do out in the world. But there is that generation back home, still exists. I lived there recently for a couple of years, where all they want you to do is become an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor. That's it.
I think for Francis, it was even more basic than that. I think they wanted him to take over the family farming business.
Bloody hell.
He just wasn't having it. He wanted more opportunity in life. And now look at him. He's rolling with Mike Tyson and fighting Dillian White potentially.
Probably he looks like he works on a farm though. That guy is solid. Like literally, he has to cut weight. Like the UFC have a heavyweight limit of 265 pounds. He has to cut weight to make the limit. So he can't just walk around and jump on the scale. He has to kill himself to cut weight to get on there at 265. 6'5". So he's not. I mean, he's kind of built like the modern day heavyweights. It's just that he is 6'5" of pure dynamite muscle, and it's not like thick muscle that it just looks like this guy wasn't even in the gym. It's like he worked on a farm with his bare hands. He's
a little segue from that point. I remember Jamie Foxx saying when he was working out for Django, because you know how good a shape Jamie Foxx is generally.
Yeah.
He said he went back to old school training techniques so you would get a proper field worker physique.
Yeah.
He was lifting bales of hay, he was chopping wood, he was doing all like old school farmhouse techniques. Crazy. So that's what you're saying, right? He's got that
He's got that look about him. I mean, a lot obviously nowadays there's so much scientific stuff that goes into someone getting a physique, and sometimes you just got to go old school. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to lift shit up and run. Like I think we make it too technical nowadays. Like you see some of these boxers working on things, and you think, well, can you just not go out there and fucking run, please? Like Floyd never ever used a strength and conditioning coach because he's like, well, why do I need to do this stuff? So I don't know.
Well, as his uncle, rest in peace, Roger, his uncle said, Floyd was a natural, diligent, hardworking athlete.
Yeah.
And Floyd, like Manny Pacquiao, have always kept in shape. So that's why they were able to fight forever, because these are exceptional. Mike Tyson said that Costamoto used to say that's what discipline was, doing something you hate and doing it good.
That's it.
You know? So
that's a legendary statement right there. Although I do feel like Manny Pacquiao might have extra help as well in staying in shape.
You're nothing but consistent, bro.
You know me. Yeah, know
you're
me.
Nothing but consistent. I love Manny.
I gotta say what I say.
I always say innocent till proven guilty. So
That's
no, I'm being consistent as well.
Because
I'll get sick otherwise. You know what? Coming back to boxing, let me just pepper you with a few kind of odds and sods now. Then, so we spoke last time. We did a roundup of the of one of our favorite 135 divisions.
Yeah.
And so obviously because of Corona lockdown and restrictions, the big Loma Teofimo fight's off.
Yeah.
And there's been tons of smack talk going backwards and forwards with Devin Haney and Teofimo.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that? Is it real? Is it hype? And how do you see a potential matchup?
No, it's just hype. It's just two young kids. I mean, you'll remember what you were like at 21, 22. Just hype. These guys are just talking over social media. And as much as I enjoy that, because it kind of lets us in as fans, I do get annoyed when I see these boxers talking over social media. If you want to make a fight, call your manager, make a fight. But we know both their management are not putting them two guys in with each other because they're two very good prospects. It'll be difficult to judge now. I think I would always edge towards Teofimo just because I've seen him in against a legit guy in Richard Comey. So he's been in there with someone and he's knocked out a legit guy. Whereas Devin Haney, I haven't seen with anyone yet. Do I think Devin Haney's good? Yes. But I've seen so many guys that I thought were going to be the next best thing. Until I see you step up to that world level, legit world level, then it's difficult for me to say you're going to beat someone that's just beaten a world champion and a good world champion in Richard Comey.
What did you, as far as the smack talk goes, what did you think of Teofimo calling it the email belt?
I loved it. And I see Linares is calling Ryan Garcia the internet champion. They're laughing at all these belts these kids have, which basically mean very, very little. I mean, look, I understand how it works. You get an interim champion, they can be an international champion. I get all that. But he's right? I mean, Devin Haney hasn't beaten anyone for that belt. I mean, the belt was taken away from him, then given back to him. He was injured. Then Luke Campbell was supposed to fight for it, and it's just a mess. So until he fights someone legit, I don't think we're going to look at him as a legit world champion. I don't. I mean, to me, you can't be a world champion when the belt's just given to you. You've got to fight someone. And so I don't look at him as a legit world champion at all.
Talking of the youngsters and the social media era of champions, have you seen how impressive Ryan Garcia's hand speed's looking?
Well, I like Ryan Garcia. I'm a fan. Not just because of his boxing ability. I think something's there. Again, like Devin Haney, we need to see him step up. But I just like the way he's building up his brand. When I look at someone that could be a pay-per-view star, I think of Ryan Garcia. He's a good-looking kid. He's always on social media, always showing little bits and parts of his life that is good, it intrigues fans. I saw him do something with Francis Ngannou the other day.
Did you see that? The body shot challenge.
The body shot challenge, and that's what I'm talking about. He's crossing over. So MMA fans that might not know Ryan Garcia but know Ngannou will tune in and like, okay, who's this Ryan Garcia kid? He's smart and he's young, and I feel like that's something that boxers over here lack. Their social media presence over here is awful. I mean, Ryan Garcia is taking it to another level. And even if he's just an average fighter, he's going to be a millionaire just because fans are going to tune in because of his profile.
And that's why people like Linares get sore, because Ryan Garcia's probably got more female fans than most boxers have normal fans.
I'm telling you now, that's exactly what happens. I mean, Ryan Garcia, look, I've not got any social media, but I'm pretty sure he's got millions of fans on Instagram and millions of fans on YouTube now. He's started his own YouTube channel as well now, which is good, and obviously Twitter. So he's ticking those boxes. He speaks a bit of Mexican, not a lot, but enough to kind of get the Mexican fans invested. Obviously, he speaks English perfectly, obviously being American. So he's ticking all the boxes.
Talking of that that little clip he did with Francis Ngannou, you just told me that Ngannou struggles to make 265. That would mean on most days of the week, he's double Garcia's weight. Did you see on about the third or fourth shot, Garcia made him take a step back? Did you see that?
I saw that. I mean, that was impressive. Obviously, Ngannou was laughing through it, but the kid's got power. And I don't know how tall he is, but obviously he's quite skinny, so he could move up to 154 eventually when he starts piling on some muscle, because he's got the length about him. He's not stocky like a Gervonta Davis. He's very lean. So once he starts piling on the weight, he'll move up, and he'll move up comfortably. Yeah,
I think you predicted that the rest of them would probably max out at 147. Tiafimo, I can't. Devin Haney's too short. Devin Haney with the right selections, if his career goes the way we hope it does, could end up taking a few fights at 154 like Floyd did. Yeah. But I think you're right, with Garcia's superior height, he looks an inch or two taller. He could probably end up fighting there.
Yeah, and what we've got to understand with Floyd, as much as Floyd did fight guys at 154, he fought guys that came up from a lower weight class as well. So not guys the natural 154. Oscar coming up, even Canelo came up from a smaller weight class. So he didn't fight the giants at 154 that are there now. He fought guys like him that have come up, so it's a bit different.
What do you think about Floyd taking Haney under his wing so much?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know what this means. Is he trying to be his trainer, right? I mean, Devin Haney's got his own trainer right now. I know Gervonta Davis doesn't like it, because obviously Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney have gone back and forth, and Floyd promotes or manages Gervonta Davis. I think that's a strange one.
Do you think that's real with Tank? A lot of people are telling Tank to like shut the F up and stop being a little you-know-what. So
yeah. I just think Tank, again, this young cat syndrome, right? I mean, they're all young. They're very emotional. They say emotional things. They do silly things. And I think that's what Gervonta Davis is doing right now. I see no problem with Devin Haney reaching out to Floyd, who he's known for well over 10 years, and saying, can you show me a few things? It'd be nice to kind of show me what you've got. No problem. I'm pretty sure if Gervonta Davis reached out to Floyd every day and say, show me stuff, Floyd would show him as well. It's just how it is.
Do you know the funny thing, though? Not that you ever get another Floyd Mayweather Jr., but physically, attribute-wise, and even watching Devin Haney train with Floyd Sr., if you're ever going to get a poor man's version of Floyd Mayweather Jr. with, like, the potential skeleton to work with, Devin Haney's a pretty good factory replica, like, physical specimen-wise.
Yeah, he's a factory replica, but I still think he's more of a Chinese factory replica for now.
That's why you're the YouTube champion, Ade.
I just don't think.
We'll finish it there. See you later. No, look. I mean, the thing is, as I said from the top, you don't get another Floyd Mayweather Jr., right?
No, you're right. You're right.
It was quite nostalgic seeing Floyd do the training. Even his facial expressions and stances, you could see flashes of Roger in there. It was beautiful to see.
Yeah, and what was amazing to see was how small Floyd is.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Devin Haney looked bigger than Floyd, and Floyd's the guy that used to fight at 147. I was like, who's the bigger weight guy here? That shows how much weight Floyd gave away when he was fighting these guys at 147 and 154. Floyd's a tiny man.
There's that going on, but you know what else? I think because Floyd's not in fight camp, I don't think he's doing as aggressive drills as before, because his legs look skinnier.
Yeah.
I noticed his legs didn't look as muscular as they used to. You know, like when you've done a big run, your calves get a pump. Yeah. Floyd didn't have the pump. Maybe that's just a young man thing. And that was another thing, because Roger was notoriously skinny. That was another thing when I looked at Floyd and quick, like, flash double take, I could see Roger, like physically.
What I will say about Floyd, what I think a lot of boxers should take from the fact that how small he looked, that shows me that Floyd fights so close to his natural weight. When you got a lot of these weight bullies now, like an Errol Spence that probably walks around about 170, 175, and Kell Brook even bigger, and they're trying to boil themselves down to almost be the bigger man on the night. Floyd showed, obviously Floyd's way more skillful than those guys, but I think in terms of longevity, you can't keep killing your body like that. And I think that's why Floyd hanged around for so long, just because he was probably walking around at like 155, having to make 147. He's a small guy.
Yeah. I told you, man, I weigh 145, 146 most days of the week. And when I saw Devin out in Vegas, Devin was spot on my size. Like, and I was like, okay, so you're actually a little guy. So,
yeah,
and you're putting him next to Floyd. Floyd's a small guy. Pacquiao's a small guy. They're small guys.
They're small guys. They're tiny guys. It's weird, again, with this weight thing. Two people weigh the same on the scale for about a minute, and then it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're fighting at 147, but, I mean, after about 2 hours, one of these guys could be like 155 and then keep going.
4 more bottles go back in.
There you go. 4 more bottles of extra stuff than that, and then they're bigger than you can imagine.
Addy, you know, I don't know how into the old and more recent boxing movies you are. One of the main reasons I got so into boxing was because of my love of the dramatization in movies. Anything from Raging Bull to the Rocky series to, I think boxing owes a lot to Rocky, you know, as far as popularity in certain eras and stuff.
100%, massive, 100%. That's why Rocky's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
Think about that for a second. Rocky Balboa is in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's crazy. That's how much is owed to him.
It's true, and so many real boxers have wanted to feature in the movies over the years.
No sport. And you think of boxing, it lacks behind other sports, right? Football, NFL, NBA in terms of popularity. But no sport has been portrayed more times in films than boxing. There is no big football movies or NFL movies. It's all about boxing.
We need to do a top 5, man. We need to do a top 5 each and discuss. I was just going to give you a quick quote from De Niro. Or no, it was actually from Joe Pesci. When they did the scene, he was about to have his heavyweight. Jake LaMotta kept getting postponed because he was involved with the mafia and whatnot. For those that don't know, he fought Sugar Ray Robinson, who I think is the best boxer ever. He fought him 6 times. You would never get. That's why you've got to rate people like Pacquiao fighting Marquez 4 times. You would just never get these rivalries anymore. They fought 6 times because it was post-war era. There was no one else to fight, and no one else could give Sugar Ray Robinson a fight. That was his first loss, was to Jake LaMotta. But there's this scene where he's trying to make weight, right? And Jake LaMotta notoriously struggled with making weight. He ballooned quite easily, like Ricky Hatton and stuff. And Joe Pesci tells him, as his brother, who's his manager, tells him to order a steak. And he says something like, I don't know, just chew it a few times and spit it out.
Joe Pesci's a fantastic actor.
Making weight has always been a real issue with boxing.
It's a huge issue. It's just, I mean, I can't imagine it as a normal guy that is allowed to eat what he wants. Yeah, I want to stay in shape, a bit of vanity, but the idea of, I don't know, being told I can't eat what I want, and then depleting my body and then wanting to put on my best performance, just doesn't even make sense. I'll tell you a boxing movie that I like that's underrated that no one really talks about. It's a movie called The Gladiator.
Okay.
Cuba Gooding Jr. It's about kind of underground boxing. It's probably done in 92 or 93. Very underrated boxing movie that not many people talk about. I love it. It's called The Gladiator. Obviously not to be mixed up with Russell Crowe's Gladiator. But it's a good boxing movie.
I need to see that, man. I need to see that. Cuba Gooding Jr., he's another specimen. He's a very physical guy. Like when he gets in shape.
When he gets in shape, obviously he's known for Jerry Maguire and films like that and Boys in the Hood. But Cuba Gooding Jr., very good actor.
Talking of that, Addy, that kind of trips nicely into the next little topic I just wanted to quickly talk to you about. Obviously, us being the over 35ers.
Yeah.
How are you finding the wear and tear and keeping fit?
You know what it is? I love exercising. Like, I'm not joking. Like right here, for example, my barbell is sitting on my there.
Yeah.
I got my spin bike over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, exercising for me is just like, I don't know what it is. It's always been part and
Yeah.
parcel. Maybe because I played sports for so many years in school,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to stay in shape. So I've always enjoyed exercising. But you're right. I mean, I've started running again, and I've hurt my calf. My Achilles is sore. My knee's killing me. My lower back's hurting. I'm thinking, I'm only fucking 39. Like, what is going on? It's
It's
crazy.
the wear and tear, man. I was seeing when you posted, I'm not gonna hot up what make it was, but when you posted that picture of the new trainers you had, and you said you're going for a 10K, I thought, Ade, don't do it, man. Don't do
Yeah,
it. You don't.
I should have walked in them first,
Yeah, you
get
have
used
to.
to them, like get into them. So I done them, and I was like, sure enough, I thought, hey, look at those, and then bang, came back, everything was wrong.
Hobbling.
Yeah, but now they're fine. I think you reached out to me and said like, why have you done that? But I was like, yeah, I'm sure enough, they just came through the post, bang.
Yeah.
Worst thing
I'm
ever.
not going to mention the brand because I don't want to mess up your sponsorship, but
Don't mess up my sponsorship.
But you know what? I mean, you'll see on my story. I did like, I've got these silly. You try and beat your times. I was a good runner. I've always kept fit. I've got like a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old at home. I'm getting broken sleep. I'm trying to beat PBs for 5Ks and I'm getting 5 hours sleep. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was out the game for two weeks because of my cough. But
Crazy.
a lot of stretching. Bro, I basically bathe my legs in Tiger Balm. Every part of my legs that hurts, my Achilles, my knees, my anterior ligaments, they all get caked in Tiger Balm, bro. That's it.
And I think I was even watching a Carl Froch interview the other day, and I think it was Kugan Cassius that interviewed him. And even he was talking about like, and Carl Froch is as fit as they come, but he was saying the hardest thing for him right now, or when he was thinking about coming back a couple of years ago, was getting into a fight camp. Like the idea of actually doing an 8-week fight camp was the hardest thing. Like he could easily just go and have a fight in the ring, but to get in shape in order to do it, and it shows that eventually the body will start breaking down. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of these fighters that are not making these big fights, like what are you waiting for? I think they all think they're Floyd or Bernard Hopkins that are going to fight until they're 40 and 50. Your career is pretty much done at 32, 33. Make the fucking fights. Terence Crawford is 33 in September, and Terence Crawford's going to have his career, and at the end of it, it's not going to say any other top welterweight, and that's ridiculous.
It's wasted talent. Do you know what? The two guys you just mentioned, Hopkins and Floyd, you have to put them down from the last quarter century as two of the most cerebral fighters.
Cerebral.
So the average Joe can't even contemplate their career in that path because you're not them guys.
Not them guys. Not them guys. And what Hopkins did, which was so smart, is he went straight away from 160 to 175. He realized in terms of longevity, I can't cut weight. I've got to fight around my walk around weight, and that's what was smart about him. A lot of these guys just don't know it. They balloon up in between fights. They drink. Look, I get it. We can have a drink, but we're not professional fighters. These guys, if you're a professional athlete, cut that shit out. Like, cut that shit out and live the life. When it's all said and done at 32, 33, enjoy your life as much as you want. Go and party, go and drink. You're still young. Do whatever you want. But for that 10-year window when you're a professional fighter, try your fucking hardest to be the best fighter you can be and cut out all the crap.
Yeah, the best version of yourself, man. Absolutely, because you don't get another crack at it, man. That's it.
You don't. And you're risking your life when you get in there.
Well, there you go. Like Errol Spence realized that now after his car crash. So God, he's got his smart cap on and he's thinking wisely. Just before we wrap it up, apart from the heavyweights we mentioned, and we mentioned Teofimo and other guys, what's the other fight that you can't wait to get put back on the calendar?
Apart from heavyweight, so no heavyweight talk.
No. I mean, we've mentioned. I mean, I'm guessing you're going to say Usyk Chisora.
Yeah, mate, I'm all over that one.
Remember our first chat about this with the biscuits?
Yeah.
And you were like, nah, Usyk, blah, blah, nah. And then the more people leave to simmer on it,
that's what's happening. That's what's happening, right? It's like everyone's putting their own little bit of spices in it and a bit of fucking coriander and a bit of this and I feel like because we're not hearing anything about it, right? I mean, we know that Povetkin's going to fight Whyte behind closed doors. I feel like Eddie Hearn's waiting for maybe a bit of an audience to get Pulev and Joshua on, but we're not hearing anything about Chisora Usyk. So that's the one I really want to see. I mean, right up there, though, has to be Billy Joe Saunders Canelo. I think Canelo beats him, but I just want to see it. I don't want to see Golovkin. I just want to see it.
Tumbleweed. That's like a tumbleweed. It's just gone ghostly quiet.
It's gone quiet. It's gone quiet. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders is trying to talk about it, but Canelo's not mentioned anything. Canelo never really releases any little sound bites. Golden Boy haven't spoken about it either, so you wonder if that fight's going to happen. There's a few good fights at 154 pounds. I want to see that. Jason Rosario versus Charlo is one. What's going to happen with Chris Eubank Jr.? Is he going to fight Jamal Charlo? So there are a lot of good fights out there, but boxing just needs to kick into gear quickly. I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but right now we're in a shoddy place with no big fights happening.
Well, look, hopefully Top Rank are going to lead the way. The other 2 points are, before we just lock it off, just quickly, it looks like Roy Jones is actually going to be Eubank's trainer. Yeah,
that's interesting. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, thumbs up 100%. I think it's a good thing for Chris Eubank Jr. He's got a massive ego. He has to go to the gym and look up and respect the person that's giving him orders. And I think, how can you not be respectful of Roy Jones Jr.? You know what I mean? You're talking about one of the legends, one of the GOATs. So I think he needs that. And I don't think he got that from his past couple of trainers. So it'll be interesting to see if that makes any difference. I wish he had Roy Jones when he was 25, 26.
Oh, man. He said that himself, you know. He said if I had it 10 years ago. But let's not worry about the what-ifs. He's got a chance to salvage the last 30% of his career.
Oh, absolutely. And the main reason is because he lives the life.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., I don't think there's a boxer alive that is in better shape than Chris Eubank Jr. That guy looks like he is in tip-top shape all the time. So we know that he brings that to the party. Now we're just asking for a bit more boxing talent. You never know. He's already, look, I think he's already world level. Might not be top of the tree, but he's world level. So he's not far away.
Fringe world level.
Yeah. So he's not far away anyway.
And lastly, you was talking about coming out of the dark ages. What do you make of Eddie's fight camp proposals?
Oh, I like it. I think you need to think about ideas in terms of getting boxing kick-started. I said this a while back, like, if you're Eddie Hearn and you can't have an audience, why do you want to pay to put your fights in an empty venue? Like, why do you want to pay 100 grand to rent a venue when you know you're not getting any money back from it? I've been to the Matchroom headquarters. That back garden is huge. It's a beautiful venue. I'm definitely going to try and go as press accredited. I know your boys are going to try and go as well. So look, I look forward to it. I think I would.
In the hotel?
I think I'd stay there, mate. I don't know if I could, but I think I would. But
he's saying that, right? He's saying you go for a week prior, and then for every week further, if you want to stay as press, you have to stay in that zone of either his grounds or the hotel and get shuttled backwards and forwards. That's it.
It makes sense, yes. You don't want to be on the outside world. You want to get tested and know that you're okay and don't mix in with other people. It makes sense. It could be like a nice little break. I mean, the weather's great. I mean, Eddie Hearn will put on a nice spread. You know that.
This is unprecedented. This blue skies in May, man. I mean, that's been kind of salt in the wounds with the whole corona lockdown.
I just hope it lasts until August. I mean, these fight camps that Eddie's talking about are starting in August. And will we have this amazing weather then?
Is it August? I thought it was July. Has it been pushed back?
August now. They're saying the first one's going to be the first week of August until the end of August. So it's going to kick off with Katie Taylor Serrano, I think. But I don't think it will be Serrano because I think she'll have problems getting a flight in. And then it will end with Whyte Povetkin.
That's amazing. He said he was inspired by Dana White's outside of the box thinking.
Dana White doesn't give a fuck. Dana White is legendary. And people might say, I mean, you know, that he underpays his fighters and this and that, but he gets it on. When everyone was saying you can't put shows, and he was like, okay, wait and see. And now everyone's trying to copy. It's crazy.
Yeah, he thinks outside the box, man. He really does. Eddie was talking about some weird crossover event where you had MMA and boxing like Ngannou and Dillian White. You would have a ring side by side with a cage, and you do round each in each discipline.
That's just, you know, it's gone too far.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I couldn't even see how it could be sanctioned. Like, I don't know what sanctioning body would accept and allow that to happen. It's just it's crazy. I mean, I like Ngannou as an example, but Ngannou wouldn't be ranked in the top 100 as a boxer. So how can someone that's not outside the top 100 fight Dillian White, who's ranked number 4?
It would have
doesn't
to be
make sense.
MMA. It would have to be under MMA, guys, because under MMA you can fight as a boxer as well. So it would have to be under MMA.
And Dillian White's had an MMA fight as well, so he's at least had some experience.
No, for sure. He's not, he's dead. So
this is it. So yeah, that I think that's just Eddie Hearn talking. We know Eddie Hearn likes to talk, likes to make sound bites. I think that's just a sound bite.
Yeah, we like to talk as well, man. But on that note, Ade, I don't want to keep you any longer. The sky's blue, and you need to get your vitamin D requirement, mate.
I do, brother. I do. I need to go out there and just go for a nice stroll. I wish. Now I've got a Sky Zoom call at 4:30. Sky's obviously back, and we're all going to try and go back to work soon as well, which is good. I'm happy that I'm still there. And then after that, I'm going to record another video talking about AJ and that day last year where he got beat by Andy Ruiz.
Okay, which is now?
Which is now, today, June 1st, last year when he got beat.
Very super relevant as always, Ade. YouTube champion.
Thank you, brother.
Ade, respect. Signing out for Pep Talk. We'll do it again soon, bro.
Absolutely.